All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Man, this is crazy. I had to stop poor Thomas in mid sentence and mid idea because we were just getting, to get our little brief pre-recorded conversation. But he's got some great stuff, so we're gonna get started. Just jump right into it. Thomas Walker, internet marketer, online strategist, and just overall, this guy's a creative person. So let's jump right in. I guess you could share a little bit about what you do right now, and then we'll go into your story.
Thanks. So what I do right now is I'm an online marketing strategist. Basically, that means I do whatever it takes to get a company promoted, noticed, seen. So a lot of people know me for like Facebook stuff, and Facebook is cool, but it's not the only thing I do. In fact, what we'll use the Facebook information for, we'll find information in Facebook and then use that to develop an overarching communication strategy that works across the entire web. So like, if I know what you're interested in as far as like television shows, that kind of gives me some cues for how your website should be designed, right? Because it everything fits together. There's a certain psychographic profile that people have, and when you can easily fit yourself into that and then help break them of their patterns a little bit, it's much easier to stand out, be noticed, and get that interaction and attention, and ultimately make more sales. So that's really what we do all of this for, right? So,
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out how to actually define what it is that I do, because I've kind of looked at so many different areas of online marketing to see how I can get them all to fit together, because one thing always bleeds into another. So it's not just one thing, it's a lot of stuff. It all depends on who's looking for what, basically.
I know one thing that piqued my interest was you took a fan page for a company
Yep.
from one to like several, maybe what, 20,000, 30,000 or something. It was pretty
Yeah,
massive.
my very first client, Rosa's Cafe, we started from zero, and there's a lot of my story where I end up just failing into new scenarios where I get to trial by fire and make it better. Rosa's Cafe, I had absolutely no experience with the whole social media marketing or anything like that. I had just gotten back into the game essentially from a couple of years hiatus, and I had gotten this client from a company I was working with at the time, and they had said, "All right, well, make this work." Basically, they were looking to me to
Right.
make it work, and I'm like, "Oh crap, I don't know what to do." So I did some research real quick and really started learning about Facebook ads back in this is like 2008, 2009, late 2008, early 2009. So not too many people were still using it yet.
Right.
And we managed, after running our first series of ads, to go from zero to 28,000 people within the first month of being live. I still run the community now. It's a really cool place. We just crossed our 81,000 people are in the community now.
Wow.
And what's cool about this, right, is 81,000 people, it's a restaurant. It's a restaurant that has 28, 29 locations total, only in
Wow.
West Texas, but we have an international following. So it's really cool to see that like the company thought of themselves very much as just kind of a regional area, but then we have people like in Germany saying like, "Oh, we wish you were in Germany." We put out wishes to prayers. We said our prayers were with the people in Japan after the
Wow.
whole Japanese incident.
Right.
And what was really cool about that is we had two of our fans be like, "Thanks so much. We're having a hard time right now. Like, I don't have news. Like, our televisions are out. Thank God I have the internet. Thank you for the wishes." Like, it was crazy to see like, okay, we have a global
Reach.
community of
Yeah.
people that are. I mean, it's a Mexican restaurant, but to think like a Mexican restaurant can have that sort of impact,
Yep.
like that have that sort of reach, it was pretty cool, and it's opened up a lot of new opportunities for them too. So
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
I know you had mentioned you just got back into the game, and that was where we were talking before we pressed record. Before we get into that, I know right now in the Facebook game, there's a lot of different applications or a lot of different groups where people
Hmm.
would encourage each other. It's almost like link building with blogs, but it's more like building. And
Yep.
to me, it sounds how you guys grew is completely different to what's going on now in the Facebook economy, where it was that 28,000 were real people that were interested that clicked because hey, I want to know more about this company, as opposed to now let's just get it past 25 and then do whatever we got to do, go to these sites and blow it up and stuff. What would you advise to the now Facebook ad users on how to grow organically?
It's still the same idea. I mean, really, what I was doing then, I don't do anything differently now than I
Hmm.
do then. The idea of ads is not necessarily to. I don't think that ads are, and this is kind of one of the big focuses that people focus on is get more fans, get more fans,
Yeah,
get more
yeah.
fans, and it's like getting more fans is crap, right? You can have a. I'm serious. Getting more
Yeah.
fans is a ton of crap. If you don't
Yep.
have people interacting with you, then having the biggest blowout fan base in the world doesn't make a difference at
Hmm.
all, right? I look at some of these bigger pages. It's like I have a million fans,
Right.
and you get what 100, 200 likes or comments on it.
Right.
The ratio is really skewed. So what we had done then, and what I continue to do now, is to make sure that your ads are hyper targeted in the sense that you're only going to be getting people who are coming to you that are already going to be predisposed to interacting with your comments, right? So,
Mm.
um, you know,
Example. That's good. That's good.
yeah.
What? Give
Well,
us some
like
examples.
here's an example that I use. Say you like comic books, right? But comic books is still kind of a broad category.
Right.
So you like Batman,
Yep.
right? Batman, and you like a Batman from a certain area, or like the Frank Miller Batman, right? We could start to get
Mm.
really specific and
Wow.
drill
Okay.
down here.
Right.
Now, if I have a product, if I'm writing if I have a movie, for example, that is, kind of like Sin City, right? Well, Frank Miller's
Hmm.
Batman and Sin City, they're coming from the same guy. You can start to target, and then that way,
Hmm.
so then the people coming to you when you put out updates, they're going to be more likely to interact with you, as opposed to just going like
Right.
everybody within a certain area or everybody within a certain age range. Like we don't interact with demographics; we interact with people. Um,
Wow.
and
That's good. That's really
and
good.
the and the
Huh.
biggest thing that like Facebook is about and the whole Facebook economy and all that, the
Hmm.
brands that are being the most successful aren't being brands so much as they're being a reflection of their ideal target market. So we
Ah.
use the information that we find from ads.
Wow, this is good stuff, man.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and it's really the whole basis of like what I try to teach people is it's not you're not basically when you're branding, you're not talking about yourself and what you can do. It's more about the problem that you can solve for the other person. So really, when you become a reflection of what your ideal target market wants or needs, that's when you start to stand out more. It's not a matter of like you going like, "Hey, look at me! Like, look at me! What see what I can
Hmm.
do." It's a matter of like you're having this problem. I understand this problem, and because I understand that problem, you can automatically assume I know how to fix it.
Right. So I would identify the problem and then, mark down some bullet points based on the problem and some keywords, and then that's what I would put into the Facebook ads dashboard, right?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, what you have to look at is the number one thing you have to ask yourself is what would a real human being put in the likes and interest section of their profile, right? Like if like I'm an online marketer, right? So I have all sorts of online marketing blog type stuff in
Hmm.
my profile on Facebook. But the truth and what I see as a result of like some ads
Hmm.
is I get some really poorly targeted ads because it's like, hey, you're an online marketer, you're gonna want this, and it's like,
Uh,
no, not necessarily.
yeah.
I don't want all sorts of online marketing tools. I don't
Yep.
need to get this. I have all that stuff. I'm an online marketer. I'm good at what I do. Like I
Right.
don't need that. However, if I were a person who owned a small business or a local hair salon or someplace, a smaller business that could really benefit from the online marketing tools that make it easy,
Hmm.
then it goes outside the box a little bit, but at the same time, those people are going to find, like, does your fan page have low interactions? Well, if someone
Right.
sitting there with a salon going like, I just started this page because I was told I was supposed to,
Yeah.
they're going like, hell yeah, I have low interactions. Tell me how I can fix it.
Yeah. This is
So,
good.
and if you have a solution that's specifically for a particular industry, that becomes even more effective. So if I have a tool that's built for salon owners, I'm
Right.
just throwing this stuff off the top of my head, and
Right.
I start marketing towards salons, they're gonna go, oh yeah, I can do that.
Right.
It's
Good.
basically the crux of it. I have a
Yeah.
tendency to
And is
ramble,
that
so
what
if I
is that material in your ebook?
the hack the newsfeed
Yeah.
ebook. No, but I do talk about it quite a bit. I've been really lax about creating my own products on this type of stuff, and
Hmm.
I'm thinking about doing a webinar series sometime in the
Yeah.
near future. I just need to get off my ass and actually do it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the truth. Like, I really, I love looking at the, a lot of people will be like, oh, it's all about getting the comments or getting the
Yeah.
interaction. Well, no, I mean, you got to look at kind of the not fun stuff too,
Right.
the analytics stuff. And once you look at the analytics, that's really where you're going to start to learn about people. That's what my webinar series is going to be about.
Yeah.
If I ever actually get it done. I'm
So,
lazy. I'll tell you,
man,
I'm a
yeah,
lazy
me
mark.
too. Me too, dude. Same here. Um, Tell us about your background. I know you were showing me some videos, music videos that you do. Tell us, because that's basically where you started and learned and trial and error and stuff.
Right. Yeah. So I failed into pretty much everything that I've ever been successful at. I've kind of always failed up, and it's been fantastic.
Failed up. I like that. That's a good
Yeah.
slog.
I have this saying. I move within the channels of my fate. I move within the channels of my destiny because try to look at the signs and say like, okay, I'm gonna go in this direction now.
Hmm.
I started off for about 10 years or so. I was grooming myself to be an actor. I had done lots of local theater. I had been in a couple movies. Um, I was an extra on The Emperor's Club, which came out a few years back with
Wow.
Kevin Kline.
Right.
My all my scenes got cut, but if you were to look at the yearbook, I'd be in the yearbook, which was awesome. Um, and the kind of a culmination of all of that led up to me going to a film acting conservatory in New York, the only film acting conservatory in New York, where it was very intensive training. It was a 2-year program, and the end result is I'm a certified film actor. Awesome. Um, well, I had every intention of. Uh, I left college, went back home to New Hampshire, and had said like, okay, well, I'm going to go back to New York in 6 months, and that didn't end up happening. In fact, I ended up working at a gas station. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to save up the money to get my headshots, and that never ended up happening either because I ended up moving out of my house. So I said, all right, fine. If I can't do any of this, if I can't be in New York, I'm going to take the New York scene with me
Right.
and start making music videos for local bands because there's no one doing that right now, and there's some really good music in my area, and there's some really good music in my
Yeah.
area. And as it so happened, I started talking to some of my customers about this at the gas station, and my customer Josh Cardinal had said like, "Oh, well, I have a band." Not even thinking like, I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Well, he was like, "Yeah, we're playing a show over at the strip club over here." I was 18 years old. I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
cool." We followed, we started following them with the cameras. And at the end of the summer, I had said, "You know what? I have enough footage now. I'm going to put together a music video for you guys." And the music video came out pretty good, but it was at that point where I go, well, if I have a music video and I spent all this time, I spent an entire summer, 3 months working on it, and then another month to edit it, put it together. I was like, if nobody sees this, though, that's 4 months of wasted effort.
Right.
If I get the right, like, and I can't just blanket post this on everybody's, MySpace page. MySpace was still popular then. I have to get it to the right people. If the right people see it, then that it's going to do better for everybody. It's going to do well for me because I'll get, more people will start to know who I am as a director, and they will do well for the band because they'll get to have this cool video behind them. And they were releasing their first album. Well, the result of all that, getting the right people to see it, getting all of that, was they had done a midnight release at Bull Moose Records, which is kind of our local music chain here. And we ended up having lines out the door. They had
Wow.
doing a CD release. It took them 2 hours to get everybody out. And the
Wow.
result of all that, which was really cool, and I have the footage of this somewhere, I need to find it. They had ended up outselling Tool, U2, Korn, like major acts at this chain. So like, I mean, let's keep it real.
Right.
It was at this chain,
Hmm.
but they hold the record still currently for the largest album sales for a midnight release for a local band,
Hmm.
which was incredible.
Wow.
It was
Yeah.
just, I mean, that was massive. That was massively powerful for them, and
Wow.
that's kind of when I said like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to do this again.
Yeah.
It took me another couple of years to actually get to the point where I got to that. From there, I ended up leaving the gas station, started working for a company called Sell My Timeshare Now. I worked on their SEO team, so I learned all sorts of like link building, SEO type stuff. Went to Googleplex, that was cool. And then quit and decided that I was gonna do more music videos. The second music video, same type of story. You know, someone had contacted me out of the blue. They were like, you know, I really like that other video. You're really good at what you do. And I said, okay, cool. I made the music video, got stiffed on the contract, had just left my job that was at the timeshare company, doing the SEO stuff. And it took about another 2 years for me to, you know, and as a result of losing that job, I had lost my my apartment. I was my girlfriend at the time.
Man.
You know, everything, a lot of credibility. Like, it was just this huge spiral downward where it finally hit rock bottom and was back at the gas station I had started at. And, you know, I had said, like, okay, well, we'll just, it wasn't the right time, essentially. You know, so a couple of years, you know, go by, or 2 years go by. I end up going from a $9 gas station job to a $12 an hour selling cell phones job. And, you can, and the story on my blog is how I got fired over a pair of pants. I got fired over a pair of pants.
Right.
And instead of looking at that, like, okay, and the economy was terrible. It was like early 2009, late 2008, early 2009. I think it was late 2008. And basically it was just like, all right, like either I can pound the pavement and try to find another crappy $12 an hour job, or I can do what I was meant to do. Right? I can get back into the online marketing business. And about 2 weeks after I had gotten fired, I had gone. I was in my office. It was my room. Let's be honest. I was in my room. I was surfing on the internet, and a friend of mine had called me up and was like, "Hey, I'm going to the Super Bowl party. You know, you really need to get out of the house. Do you want to go?" And I'm like, well, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Why not? And we had gone to the Super Bowl party. I didn't know anybody there. I knew that the whole "what do you do for work" conversation was going to come.
Yep.
That happens.
Yeah.
You know. And instead of being like, "Oh, I just got fired," I told the story like I just told you, and made it very entertaining, and you know, kind of transition that into like what I used to do and then what I plan on doing now. And as a result of that, got my first client, and it's kind of just gone from there.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's really it. I mean, it was just a matter of like not giving up.
Yeah.
You know, I suppose. So that's it. I mean, that's the story from there. And then, you know, like 6 months later, I got the first client with the second client really with the 0 to 28,000. In the first month, and it's just been building since, and it's been awesome.
And
I still share my room with. I still share my office with a baby, so he's kind of demanding. He comes in with a little briefcase, and he's like, "Hey."
Does he ever throw stuff at you?
When does he not throw stuff at me? He throws stuff at me, slobbers on me, beats on me, picks my glasses off my face. Ridiculous.
That's funny.
Beats all the time.
Now, we're a part of the same marketing group online with Sonia Simone, the Third Tribe, and you're pretty active there. I got started probably about a year ago and learned a lot, and then just jumped right into trying to, you know, do business online for myself. Been away, but I noticed that you're continually making strides in there and sharing a lot of information. And that's kind of transitioned over to your Facebook, and now you're like viewed as the Facebook dude that can help, you know, a whole lot of people. So how did you get started in the Third Tribe?
Well, I wanted it for a while. I wanted to get in for a while. The actually one of the foundations for how I do a lot of my online marketing stuff was in my research period, I came across a post on Copyblogger by John Morrow called "How to Be Interesting," and that was kind of like the foundation of how I was going to do everything from then on. They had launched Third Tribe, and I really wanted to get in for a while, but couldn't afford to do it. And basically, like, I just, you know, I tried to make as much, I worked my way up to it. And I said, okay, now I'm at a point, I have 2 clients now. I'm going to do a Third Tribe membership. I'm going to get into Third Tribe, and I'm going to basically just use it for everything that it has.
Right.
But I mean, I signed up just like everybody else. You know, there are a lot of people who were like, I was there from the very beginning, the ground up.
Yeah.
I've been on Third Tribe for, I think, maybe about a year. We might have joined up right around the same time,
Right.
maybe.
Probably. Yeah. I got in when they had that half off special.
Oh, see, I know I missed that. I had to. I still got in at the. They weren't doing the initial entry price.
Yeah.
But I did get in at the full price, and I was like, oh, I missed the whole half off everything.
Right.
But you know, the thing is like when you build something of value, and this is true of Third Tribe, this is true of any market really. When you build something of value to the right people, it doesn't matter how much they have to spend to get it. Right? Like I missed that period of time where I was going to get that discount because I couldn't afford it. But when I could afford to do it at the non-discounted rate, it still was worth it. So there's a lot of value to be said for that type of stuff. Or there's a lot to be said about creating valuable stuff like that. Third Tribe has been completely influential in the way I conduct business and all that. So
yeah, I know for some people, Third Tribe is a mystery. You know, some of them might think, oh, it's some religious organization. I've had people ask me, hey, can I get some more information on Third Tribe? I'm like, dude, it's probably the best marketing, information or forum that you can get online anywhere. That's not pushy or weird. What would be your summation of a Third Tribe market for people that have no idea what it is?
we're a cult. You know,
Oh man.
we're a cult. Um, you know, we're a cult of people who like to. No, Third Tribe, I think, it's. There's a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life, lots of different experience levels, and you know we. It's just a place where everybody who's there, I feel like, is really there to either up their own game or help people up theirs. You know, what other place do you have, you know, sort of unfiltered access to Chris Brogan and Sonia Simone and like all these big names? And yeah, it's easy to get caught up in having big names, but the truth is they make it, I feel like the founders make it really real as to like, okay, yeah, I'm a name, but this is how I got there, you know, and it's just where they're so helpful, and then other people are really willing to help each other out. Like I can't tell you, like I've worked with a lot of Third Tribers now, just one on one. I've worked with either in coaching or I've built pages for them, or you know, and it's a place where it's a good network of people who all have qualified resources. If you say you're in Third Tribe and you're like, oh yeah, and if I need help, I'm going to ask somebody in Third Tribe before I'm going to ask anybody else, because I feel like they're some of the more qualified people that are out there. It's not like Warrior forums, for example, where it's like, oh, internet marketing, my product all the time. It's like, oh crap. I mean, you know, people do still pitch and sell, but it's a very different type of selling environment. It's not like, you know, you must buy my stuff now. It's kind of like you and I are talking right now. It's like, you know, I have something, you might need it. If you need it, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of energy and vibe, I think, really goes and translates itself to other people's blogs and within their own communities too. So that's, I don't know, that's my thought on Third Tribe. I hope I didn't scare you with just the extreme close-up on the mouth. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Good. When I explain Third Tribe, I tell them it's a marketing network. But the biggest difference between the marketing, this type of internet marketing, and all the other internet marketings that everybody's used to, is this is a more suggestive type of sales, as opposed to creating particular type or a certain type of copy to convince you, or to use all kinds of whiz bang type of grab your information. But it really is, hey, this is what I do. I'm really good at it.
It's no BS.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
very transparent, very honest.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the better ways to sell. Period. So, and you get all these like-minded people in this arena, and you can share off and get help, offer value. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like your description of it a lot better. It's much more concise.
Right. Cool, dude. So tell us about your webinars that you're gonna be hosting.
Hopefully, I mean, if I ever just buck up and do it,
Well,
I've talked about
you
it. I
did one
can,
live stream on Facebook, which is a success, right?
yeah, I did do a live stream on
Yep.
Facebook. I did I just out of a whim. Sonia Simone had written a post on Copyblogger that was talking about how to get your blog fresh again, or how to
Hmm.
feel better about your blogging. And like I frequently,
Oh.
I'll be like, I don't want to. Like this week, for example, I came back from Myrtle Beach, and I put my first post up this morning. I haven't blogged all week, and like I hate blogging, to be honest with you. I just,
Yeah. We're lazy,
I
dude.
can hate
We're
blogging. I don't
lazy,
always hate
man.
blogging. you know. But we did that post had inspired me to, like, it said, do a Q&A, and I was like, well, I know about a bunch of stuff on Facebook that a lot of people don't. Like, well, not to say it like that, but no, I mean, I do my research on it.
Hmm. Yep.
I kind of live in there. Um, and I was like, okay, well, I want to try out the Stickcam app and, do a live Q&A. And, a lot of people are doing webinars, and webinars are cool. I like webinars, don't get me wrong, but there's something about gating the information to me that doesn't seem kind of, it just doesn't feel right, where it's like,
Mm.
okay, I have to give you my email address, and then you're going to give me something that I don't know if I'm going to like or not.
Mm.
And then it's going to be, I'm either not going to think to unsubscribe, or, I'm opening myself up
Mm.
as a person who's handing my information out to possibly be getting spammed a lot. Now, thankfully, a lot of that doesn't always happen, but,
Mm.
there's always that one list you sign up to where the person's just like, psh,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
tried to unsubscribe, but you can't. I'm going to keep.
Right,
Like,
and
come on.
that's the opposite of the third tribe. That's the
Right,
other
that's
tribe.
exactly opposite of
Yeah.
third try. So I used this Stickcam app and said, okay, I promoted the web, or the Q&A, and it went really well. I mean,
Yeah.
I got a good feel for some of the people who were actually engaged and paying attention. I'm going to do that again for sure.
Hmm.
Um, and I like it. The only thing I probably would say is I didn't do this beforehand. I'm probably going to do this next time, is create an optional um, landing page for after. If you like the Q&A, then go over here and you can sign up for the information over here. I'm going to try to experiment with that a little bit more
Hmm.
and see how that goes, because the truth is I only want people on my list who want to be there.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to try to trick people into getting onto my list or any of that.
Right.
Like, I want people who are going to feel like they're going to get valuable information by giving me their email, as opposed to
Right.
someone, making a promise that says, in this webinar, we'll talk about this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And
Still
then,
waiting. Still waiting.
right, still waiting, exactly. Like, I've been to a couple webinars
Yeah.
where it's like, we're going to talk about all these things. And then I'm sitting there going, like, I want to learn something. Please teach me something new.
Right.
It's not what I signed up for. It was a lot of whiz bang. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad you have my email address now. I can't wait for you to send me the next one so I can unsubscribe.
Right.
Like, so I'm going to try to experiment with that type of stuff. But what the webinar series will be about, because I'm really long-winded, what the webinar series will be about is analyzing the insights that you can find in both your Facebook pages and your advertising data on Facebook to create better content that will stand out and resonate to people by basically reverse engineering what they have in their own profile and reverse engineering themselves
Mm-hmm.
to stand out and get more interaction and more attention.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically going to be it. I am a strong believer, like, what the stuff you surround yourself with, like the television shows you watch, the books you read,
Right.
the car you drive, like, everything says something about your identity and how to communicate with you. And the only reason why I can say that 100% with confidence is that their marketing got to you at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you can incorporate elements of other people's marketing and kind of craft it to be your own, don't rip people off, obviously, but certain color palettes work a certain way, or certain type of language works a way with some people.
Mm-hmm.
By incorporating some of that stuff into your own messaging, you can really stand out and resonate with people. Because what's the hardest thing with online marketing? The hardest thing with any sort of online or social marketing is getting people's attention in really busy news feeds.
Yeah.
Facebook's algorithm for the news feed says well, we're only going to show your posts to people who like and comment on your stuff. So if you don't get people liking and commenting on your stuff, you might as well
Right.
tree falls in the woods. You're obsolete. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can get people, if you can stand out and be like, hey, you, I'm talking to you
Yeah.
right now, you,
Yeah.
without being creepy like me, then you're able to get those interactions and show up in more people's news feeds, and then you see that sort of organic, natural growth. And that's what happened with my 0 to 28,000 client,
Right.
and that's what we still continue to do. Now we don't even run ads, and we've grown like we haven't run ads in a little while. I mean, we have, but off and on for different. But we'll grow about. I think with the last couple months, we grew 5,000 people completely organically.
Wow.
You know, it's just from people interacting and commenting on stuff. We had the right people there in the first place. We build that core of people in the first place.
Right.
They start interacting. People who are like them are going to start see that stuff and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna jump on board."
Right.
So it works really great for acquisition, but I think that there's really an uneven balance on marketers focus huge unevenly on acquisition, but not retention.
Yeah.
So by focusing on retention and social networks, you can really kind of organically drive that acquisition, and it's going to be a lot more qualified than if you were to just try to get a bunch of people to your list.
Yeah.
So again, I'm really long-winded and I talk a lot.
No, dude, we're gonna hold you. We're gonna hold you to your webinars, man, because that's a lot of good information. I'm sure a lot of people is gonna want to know, know that information. So you're on the clock now, dude. We're waiting. We're waiting. Do you have anything, any like targeted date?
No.
Okay.
No, I need to set something. Like I'll tell you what, man. Like, do you know Derek Halpern?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on my ass all the time about trying to get something done. He's just like, do something. Like, I'm doing all this. I just got a new list of 100,000 people. I'm awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, God.
I saw when he did his webinar, man, and then when he followed up with his other one with Clay, I was like, this guy's on it, man. Attaboy.
Yeah, Derek has an extremely tight work ethic. He's and he's a good motivator.
Yeah.
If you ever get the opportunity to talk to him one-on-one, he'll let you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just talking to me last night. He's like, yeah, I'm finishing up this sales letter for this new product he's creating, and like the product he's creating is phenomenal. And check it out, webinarbridge.com. He's about to. It's going to be awesome, especially if you're into the webinar thing. Like, specially developed plugin. I think what that does, and I don't mean to like plug him right now, but what his plugin does is it makes it so if you are signing up for a webinar, what happens with like GoToMeeting is it will take all of your information. Well, his plugin makes it so the information goes to GoToMeeting, but it also does the automatic opt-in for Aweber or MailChimp. So it's extremely useful and nothing out there like it right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I do start doing webinars, I'm definitely getting on that. So
yeah, you should, dude. That's gonna be great. Yeah, that's gonna be great, man. Well, I'm gonna set a date, put it on your Facebook and say, hey, I can't wait for the August 18th webinar. This is awesome, dude. I'll post it on the tribe too. Man, you guys sign up for this
no,
thing?
You're going to put me up in the accountability bar and everything, huh?
Yeah, dude. I had to do it for myself, and it actually got me to finish not finish, but to get started and to ship my latest, my first actual course on Twitter. It's crazy, and it's a virtual summit type of training, and
yeah, I was looking at your I was awesome, on the sales page for that.
Yeah, it's top applications of people that are into it. The developers, man, they love it, and it's awesome. So I put my name in, I said, hey, hold me accountable. I can't do this, and it was good. Yeah, that I felt that pressure, so
Cool.
So I'm gonna put you in there.
Oh no.
No, this is good.
It'll be all right. I think my biggest problem with like webinars and that type of thing is creating the slides. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to design. And I hate creating slides, but if I can get away with it without doing slides, and chances are likely because we're going to be looking at...
Oh, we lost you there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, there you go. You froze up there for a minute.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, sorry, you were frozen too. Oh, no. So...
Cool.
Do you normally Vogue when you freeze?
Sometimes, man. Cool, dude. Last question.
Sure.
What do you plan to do in the future? Where do you see yourself?
Well, I aspire to get on the level of Seth Godin. That's my goal.
Yep,
It's lofty, I realize, but
that's good.
I think one of the major things that I want to try to communicate and help people with, or help businesses do, is really stop with the whole mass marketing. Like
Yeah.
everybody feels like, like everybody has particular groups of interest. Like I know that I have a particular group of interests, you have a particular group of interests, and there's going to be a handful of things that appeal to you.
Hmm.
Um, I know that I've also made bad decisions based on really good marketing with really bad products. So not that the product itself was bad, I just wasn't the right customer for it.
Hmm.
So what my goal is, um, life goal, I mean future,
Yep.
big goal is to really change the face of marketing where we start to move away from um, everybody needs this, kind of a spray and pray type of scenario,
Hmm.
and get into like the
Mm.
really hyper focused, like super targeted marketing that um, could be extremely valuable to people.
Hmm.
Because, a lot of marketing will try to make people feel bad about themselves in order for them to buy their product. And that's not necessary. It's not, there are plenty of people, like I used an example recently. I'm an ideal target market. I'm in the ideal target market for a wash and fold service for laundromats, right? I hate doing laundry. Um, so, matching businesses up or matching services up with the right people, like in a way that makes Minority Report look good. You know what I mean? Not,
Mm.
not
Right.
not anything creepy, but
Right.
help people
Yeah.
that way,
Yeah. Yeah.
and help businesses because I mean, it's just with the way things are going, like with the way technology is moving and the way all of that's going, like there's a lot of methods now that
Hmm.
um, they're becoming antiquated,
Hmm.
antiquated, yeah, and and I think that moving it towards that's it's gonna be better for the world as a whole. So
Hmm.
that's kind of the future for me, hopefully.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely necessary, especially now with the all the businesses are they're jumping on the social media, the social networking bandwagon that it's caused such a frenzy that they're all concerned. They just want likes and more people, and less quality, which is cool if that's what they want. But in the long run, it's kind of for what. So
Yeah, and I mean the thing is like as a culture we focus on we think that bigger numbers are better, and I mean we and obviously like when it comes to bank account, bigger numbers are better. When it comes to like all of this stuff, like we're so driven by bigger is better,
hmm
and that's
and
not
sometimes it's
necessarily the
good.
case.
Sometimes it
Yeah,
works for different people, different industries, definitely.
yeah,
Um,
and that's absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with that.
right.
But like if you kind of take the approach, like, are you familiar with have you read Zen Habits, Leo
I,
Babauta's blog?
Yeah, not a whole lot, not a whole,
Okay.
but I'm familiar with them. Yeah.
Um, it's really more about like we become so immersed in like this culture of stuff, right? Like we need to have a bunch of stuff, and but the truth is what do we do with that stuff 2 or 3 years from now?
Hmm.
What do we do with stuff? We get rid of it. We toss it out. But if we can create, like, if as businesses we can create products that people are going to use,
Hmm.
and keep them coming back when we build new products, but not in a way where we build
Right.
products that are going to be obsolete in a few more years.
Hmm.
Um, it's just going to be like you can build deeper relationships with people. I talk about like I try to build deep relationships instead of spreading out to have thousands of people, because if you have
Hmm.
thousands of people but like only 2 or 3 people or hundreds of people
Hmm. Oh, we broke up there.
on a lot more deaf ears, and the big number just makes you look good, but you're not really helping anyone.
Right. Right. Right.
So um
Cool.
but now this is all esoteric stuff, and so
No, this is good. Good information, man. Well, thanks a lot, dude. I know you're quite the busy guy with the baby, so thanks for taking out the time.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
Thanks for
yeah,
having
yeah.
me.
I appreciate it, man. So, can you tell people where to get your website, your newsletter, where to connect with you?
Tommy dot is my dot name. So, it's or tommyismyname.com, but Tommy dot is my dot name, and from there you can find all of the other stuff. You can sign up for you can get my ebook from there. You can sign up for the newsletter, get some free tips, and connect with me on the different social networks.
Cool. Tommy.ismy.name.
That's right.
Perfect. All right, man. Well, thanks so much, dude. Appreciate it again. A lot of good stuff. Look forward to the webinar. We'll post on Facebook some random date, man, and look
Right.
forward. Cool. Okay, dude. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Okay.